Oh. It's going. We're stuck on the, oh no, we're stuck on the last bit. This is turning out to be a complete and utter nightmare. Bloody hell. No, before the door shuts, I think they're going to try and secure that roof vent down because it needs doing. I think we've all seen roof vents blown on the side of the motorway before. I can't get it in, of course, because the van is on a trailer. As you saw, loo room there, and basically, again, as I say, it's all pretty original, really. There's quite a bit of work to do on this, but my friend says he's probably going to see what needs doing first, and see where if it takes Q in the restoration setup procedure. And I'm hoping when I go and visit him, he's still got this, and I can have a good sort of look at it.
Hello and welcome to a little update on the Musketeer. It's been a while, it's been a long while. It's been about 6 months, and a little bit of progress has happened, but not as much as I'd have liked, if I'm honest. The weather's defeated me, life and other things that have been going on have sort of taken priority, and so we find ourselves now in September, finally with a dry day. This roof that I should have done months ago. I've been up this morning, I've taken the frame out. I had to cut the screws that were holding the outer bits on because they were all seized, but it is now ready for me to cut all these pieces of wood to the right length. They've all been cut to the right section, and make up a frame around that inside and the little one around the top on the outside, and then hopefully we can get a skylight on it today, and then it will be waterproof. What else have I been doing? Well, since we last spoke, the caravan's actually changed colour. Yeah, I've been busy scraping all the old paint off in preparation. Let's just go outside, and you can see it's looking a lot better for its returning to its two-tone look. It's taken quite a few hours, although the main panels weren't that bad to get off. It was quite flaky. It wants a final prep, obviously, but the main of the thick flakes are off. Now this bit, the white band, is causing a little bit more trouble. It looks like it's just going to come straight off in your hand, but it doesn't. This little patch here I've done took about 15 minutes, and it still wants a final prep after that. You can see there's quite a few hours worth of work still to do, but it's definitely making progress. I've also managed to repair the drawbar. You remember there was some rot in that. It's been repaired, stiffened along the bottom, and now it's good to go. It wants another coat of paint, as does the whole chassis when the caravan gets its final coats of paint, but it's protected for now. I've taken the original hitch off. It was a 2-inch hitch, a B&B unit. Now I really wanted to change that because there is a slight issue if you ever are towing and you have a breakdown. You need to be recovered because the breakdown services won't tow it on a 2-inch hitch. They'll only tow if it's got a 50mm fitted, the standard hitch. So I've looked around and managed to find a B&B hitch of the same casting and design, but it's actually one of the very first of the 50mm ones. So the coupling head's ever so slightly different, but it will bolt straight onto the original bolts, which are all in good order and have been cleaned up. So hopefully get that on in the next few days. The chassis plate is very, very tatty, but I did manage to get the number off it, which dates it to sort of April-May time. It's quite a late 59 model in the sequence, so I would imagine it would say about April-May time it was built, and that would have been back end of 59 production, because sort of September time they would have gone over to 1960 production for the following year. What else has been happening? Well, I did manage to get all the jack legs all repaired. A lot of them had rotten feet or parts of them broken or damaged. They're all good, and I did manage to do the chassis repair, straightening the chassis and welding it up. Basically welded up the crack, well, reshaped the chassis, welded up the crack, and I've also stiffened and put an extra stiffener piece as well in on the U-shaped channel. I've put an extra bit over that, a bit like they do on the drawbar sometimes on caravans to stiffen them, so that should be good to go for another 50 years hopefully. What else has happened? I've been trying to get hold of tyres. Now tyres are causing me a bit of a nightmare because they're an odd size, certainly by modern standards, 560/15 or the radial equivalent, which is about 165/15. Now nothing uses them nowadays because they're all on low profile and wide tyres, so I've been, and they're also of course all tubeless, so I've been having a bit of trouble. It looks like I'm going to have to go with vintage tyres like the reproduction cross plies, and they are quite expensive. I was hoping I wouldn't be able to keep with more modern stuff and go with radials, but that's just not going to happen, I don't think. So it looks like I'm going to be having to find some money for them, and so yeah, so that's about where we are at the moment. As a side note, I'll just show you this, which happens to be sat next to it. It's a Cresta. Now this is supposedly, or it was sold to me as a actual promotional model. It was taken round when they first launched Cresta to show the brand and the model to various dealerships and put on display. Now, if the gentleman I bought it off is to be believed, he bought it off the person who actually saw it on display and said, I want that one. And it's quite a nice little caravan. It's only 13'6" long, but it is a 4-berth and quite a good little layout. Makes a good use of space. We've got 2 single beds up at the front. It's quite unusual in a small caravan to have 2 single beds, 2 4-6-foot beds, because most on the little vans tend to have bunks, which is great when kids are little, but as like mine, they're getting bigger, they don't want to be on bunks underneath or on top of each other. It's not really the most comfortable or ideal situation, so it's great for that. There's a partition which comes across from both sides. I won't bother trying to do it while I'm videoing because I'll end up dropping the camera. There's a little compact kitchen. It is quite small, but it's quite functional. We've managed to make decent meals in it, and you just have to use the main table up to sort of serve up on, because obviously there's not any worktop space as such, and you also do your prep on the normal table. There's a good sized cupboard down there for all your bits and pieces, your cooking stuff, your pots and things. Quite a lot of storage. There's a slightly compact toilet cubicle, but it's functional, and a little wardrobe. And this at this end actually slides out to make a double bed. Now it just looks a bit cramped, and it's hard to get far enough back to actually make it look better, but actually it's surprisingly comfortable and bigger than it looks, shall we say. So the only disadvantage of this layout, of course, is the bed when it slides out blocks the cupboards, and it means you can't fit a fridge anywhere unless you were to hack down the wardrobe and put it in the bottom of there, but then the wheel arch is there, so you'd lose a lot of your wardrobe. So we've been using this, which is actually supposed to be like a step box, a cool box, and this was actually my parents' back in the day, and I can remember using that as a kid, and it's actually quite good because you put it under the caravan. Don't use it as a step, we just use it as effectively a cool box, but it does, if you put some bottles of cold water in there and a wet towel over the top of it, it keeps everything really cool, and it's fine, particularly for fruit and veg. They like it in there far better than a modern cool box. And that's it really. It's supposedly a 1956 Cresta, which you would a prototype. It definitely shows some features that the production models didn't have. The chassis particularly is different, and it also has 5 stud wheels, which the production ones didn't. There is a little bit of information there. So there you go, little extra while it's sat next to us to have a look at. So hopefully I'm now going to get on with that roof, and then next time I can post some updates, and hopefully there'll be a bit more progress. I think I forgot to mention I'd managed to track down some cushions. Now these cushions with it. Some of them were rotten, and I think a mouse or something had attacked them. I can't remember if I mentioned this already, so excuse me if I did, but I've managed to get hold of a set of cushions from a 58 Musketeer. The gentleman had new upholstery made for his when he restored it, and he'd thankfully kept them, so that'll make a really nice set to go in here once it's restored and really finish off the job. Right, thanks very much for watching. We'll get on with the work that he's doing today, and I hope you liked the little update, and we'll do some more at some point when there's something to show you.